Okay, let's look at part 3 of elasticity. Okay, so elasticity, if we were to refer to its original expression, the first version of its expression, its formula is percentage change. Just use capital E for consistency. Percentage change in Q over percentage change in P. Right? And here, the last question is how elasticity interacts with revenue. Okay, so revenue, how is revenue written? The revenue, noted as R, is P by Q. That's your raw income, right? That's your raw income sales. So if each product is priced as P and we have sold out Q amount of products, then the total amount that you're gonna gather, amount of income that you're gonna gather from your transactions is P by Q. Okay, so now the question is, say if there is a price change, the price increase, for instance, right? Then how should your revenue change accordingly, right? And you know that you're facing elasticity of consumer of certain type. Okay, say here in question 3, we say for the conditions in question 2, and in question 2, we found both consumers are inelastic. So let's start it with inelastic consumers. Inelastic consumers. Okay, for inelastic consumers, that actually means its elasticity, its absolute value of the elasticity is smaller than 1. All that means for this fraction, right, the bottom should be bigger than the top in its absolute value, right? So here I'm introducing to you a method which I refer to as the arrow method. Okay, so here you have inelastic consumers. That means your top is smaller than your bottom. Okay, so now we have an arrow method. The question is, how will price increase affect your revenue if you're facing inelastic consumers? Okay, again, it's P by Q. All right, so if consumers are inelastic, that means you change your price by a lot, your quantity would only change by a little, right? This should be greater than that. So here we are using a longer arrow to show that, okay, your change in price should be a lot to drive your quantity to decrease by a little. In that case, the price increase will be able to overcome the quantity decrease, right? So in this case, your revenue will increase, so possibly a less magnitude of your price increase because you have a little bit drop in quantity to offset that. So your revenue will increase. That's the result. Okay. So let's focus on this and then think about the economic intuition. So if you have pretty inelastic consumers, namely loyal consumers or dependent consumers, consumers who are dependent to your product, right? Then here in that case, increasing your price, they will not cut off their quantity consumed too much in response, right? Because they are loyal. Think about Apple products, right? They price their products, or Alien, computer, right? They price high their products, but people are still gonna buy it, right? Because people are loyal to Apple brand, to the brand of aliens. In that case, increase your price by a lot, but consumers are still gonna buy your product, meaning that they will not cut short their consumption quantity consumed by too much. So here we have a big leading price, which will offset, which will dominate the quantity decrease. In that case, your revenue would still be able to increase. And this explains to you why those brands who already had their good reputation, accumulated their good, we say, market good power in the market, leading position in the market, we see they are able to price high their product, right? Because they know to their loyal consumers, their products are insubstitutable, right? And the consequence is, by pricing high, yes, we confess, we admit the fact that some of the consumer will be deterred. We will lose some consumers, but not a lot. Still, you're able to expand your revenue, right? And this also explains why we need sales, we need marketing, we need all those advertisements, so as to create the image of certain brand and to make those consumer loyal, namely inelastic to your products, so that eventually it helps you after those consumers are your loyal are your loyal clients, right? They're gonna come back. They're gonna come back for sure. Or after a certain period of promotion, they have established certain habit of using your products. Then eventually, okay, this kind of consumer stickiness, consumer loyalty, after that has been established, you are able to price high. And this also explains why we have certain strategy, right? A lot of say subscription of internet, subscription of certain services, subscription of insurance, right? They give you a first year, they give you a new customer discount to do what? To make sure that you lock you in, right? And after locking you in for several years, after you have established a certain relationship, and we know people are lazy, people don't want to switch around between different insurance policy, insurance companies, but you see switching around, it helps you to lower down your insurance cost. Why is that? Because every insurance company, they give new customer benefit. Why is that? They hope that you are gonna, after trying their product for free for a certain period, you're going to establish this kind of habit of using their products, the trust of using their product, and eventually be their loyal consumers, so that in the long run, they can raise up their price and you're lazy enough not to switch around. I'm not blaming anybody to be lazy, but we all have things going on and we just don't have enough time to call a lot of insurance company to shop around. So it explains why in business we do this. Okay. Then alternatively, if a consumer, they are very elastic meaning they are sensitive to the price. And usually the reason why they are sensitive to price is your product has nothing to boast about other than its price. It doesn't have any uniqueness, right? Any good traits or qualities to make this product to outstand by its own. The only thing that can help you to compete the other alternatives to your product is to price it low, right? And if you do raise your price a little bit, then possibly the consumers, they realize there are a lot of different alternatives, and what they are going to do, they're going to switch. They're going to leave, right? In that case, a very elastic consumer, for them, their elasticity is like this, right? the absolute value of elasticity is greater than 1, that means the magnitude of the top is greater than the magnitude of the bottom. So that means if you just increase your price a little bit, possibly you're gonna see an avalanche in your consumption data, in the purchase data, right? Meaning that the quantity consumed will drop by a lot. So in that case, let's look at the revenue. Price change a little bit. Now consumers are very sensitive. They see your price change a little bit. They're like, oh, it's not worth it. Let's switch. Let's leave you, right? Leave your product. Don't buy your product anymore. They are kind of offended by your increase in price. Sometimes it does happen, especially to those products that has no differentiation, no uniqueness in them, right? So in that case, quantity drops a lot. When price increase a little bit, then the quantity decrease will dominate the price increase, and eventually for your total revenue, it's gonna decrease. Okay, so that's the case that we are looking into. So now let's look at question 3. For conditions in question 2, if price increases, how will the revenue change? And in question 2, we have, in both cases, we see that consumers are inelastic, and when consumers are inelastic, you increase price by a lot, they will only reduce their consumption by a little. The result is the revenue will increase.